Hola, clase. This lesson is ER and IR verbs. We have spent some time working on AR verbs in the past, starting early in December. This lesson focuses on conjugating ER and IR verbs. As you know, all verbs end in either AR, ER, or IR. So AR verbs have different endings. ER and IR verbs have very similar endings to each other, so that's why we're doing them together. So in your book, it's page 54 is an ER verb, ponerse. But then it jumps to page 57, 58. 57 and 58 is ER and IR verbs, and then 59 is a review of all verbs, and 60. Okay, so 59 and 60 is kind of reviewing all AR, ER, and IR verbs, so that'll be great. This is kind of a lot of worksheets, but we can go through some of them in class. Okay, so ER and IR verbs, just like AR verbs, the ending will change based on who the subject is. So let's go ahead and look at page 57. If you have your book, that would be great. They use leer as an example. It looks like leer, L-E-E-R. It's leer, 2 syllables. So it means to read. And we always drop the ER and then change it to the appropriate ending. So just like AR verbs, the yo form ends in O. So that's really nice. I've always loved the yo forms because they all just end in O. And O rhymes with yo, so it's nice and easy. So yo leo, right? We keep one E because that's part of the stem, but we drop the E, the second E and the R because that's the ending, right? Okay, the to form is lees, right? We drop the ER and we add ES. So for ER verbs, the to form ends in ES. El, ella, or usted form, lee, right? Drop the ER, add an E. Nosotros leemos. Okay, so ER verbs, the ending for the nosotros form, the we form, is emos, E-M-O-S. Okay, so for to read, leer, we have leemos, we read. Vosotros, you all read, leéis. Right, so we drop the ER and we add E with an accent, I-S. That's pronounced leéis. That's always the trickiest form. Thankfully, it's only used in Spain. And then the ellos, ellas, ustedes form, that's they. Leen, drop the ER and add EN. So if you remember AR verbs, the endings are o, as, a, almost, ais, on. It's pretty much an E instead of an A. Wherever there was an A in those forms, it's now an E for an ER verb. So it's pretty simple, right? I think you guys can handle that. So for the ER endings of all verbs, present tense verbs, O, es, e, hemos, eis, en, right? The O, E-S, E, E-M-O-S, E with an accent, I-S, and E-N. Okay, so take a look at the chart on page 57, leer, that's your example, and the endings are underlined, okay? But the endings are the same for all ER verbs. Okay, so leer is just the example. IR verbs have the same endings except nosotros and vosotros forms are a little different. It's an I instead of an E in the nosotros form, which is a little tricky to remember that it's different, but it makes sense that it's an I for an IR verb, right? And then the vosotros form, instead of EIS, it's just IS. So abrir, to open, is our example. And so we have yo abro, I open, tú abres, you open, él, ella, or usted abre, he, she, or you formal opens. Nosotros or nosotras, we abrimos, open, we open. Vosotros or vosotras, abrís, you all open. Ellos, ellas, ustedes abren, they open. So the endings for IR verbs are underlined in this box for abrir on page 58. The endings are o, es, e, imos, is, en. So it seems like a lot, but we've been practicing AR verbs for a while. So now it's just is instead of a's for the ending and i's in the nosotros and vosotros forms. So I think you guys can do it. We'll practice, 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 and you guys will definitely get the hang of it. Now, one other thing was all the verbs that are introduced in this chapter. I did print out sheets, but I wasn't there, so I wasn't there to give them to you, so I'll give them to you this week. Because they're kind of scattered throughout these pages. One thing I don't like about this book is it doesn't have like boxes. It doesn't always have boxes of like, here's the vocabulary words for this lesson. So anyway, that's why I printed all of the words introduced that are scattered throughout these pages onto a separate page. So I will give those to you, but I'll go ahead and read them. So we have poner, to put or place. Ponerse means to put it on yourself. So to put on. So like to get dressed, put on a shirt, or also to put on like an emotion, to become, right? To like become sad. Me pongo triste, like I become sad. Okay, so poner, ponerse, leer, to read. That was our example. Comer, to eat. Beber, to drink. I think you guys are familiar with those. Vender, to sell. Creer, to believe. Aprender, to learn. Correr, to run. Deber, to owe. It's also used for should. Abrir, to open. Vivir, to live. Escribir, to write. Decidir, to decide. Recibir, to receive. Jugar, to play. Comprar, to buy. Viajar, to travel. Visitar, to visit. Nadar, to swim. Caminar, to walk. And escuchar, to listen. Those are some great, really common verbs. If you guys can take time to memorize those, you can say a whole lot in Spanish. So definitely well worth your time to memorize these verbs and their translations in English and to learn how to conjugate them appropriately. That will just do you so many favors for your future in speaking Spanish. So today is all about ER and IR verbs and practicing with all verbs. So some really common verbs. That's all. Adios.